Okay, great. So, Steve, how's it going? I hear you're a new papa, huh?
Yeah,
Hey, congratulations.
thank you very much.
Is that your first kid?
Yes,
Wow.
and I'm still amazed. I mean, all my friends have had them over the years.
Yeah. So it's an experience, I'm sure. Oh boy. So, your new album. How do you feel about it? You excited or what?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's more of a band thing than I've ever done, really.
Uh huh.
I had the band there for the rehearsals and arrangements of the tunes, as well as the recording, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And normally I would arrange the tunes myself, more or less. It's kind of like getting back to the Dregs philosophy, which is the band was in on the whole arranging of the tunes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. First, let me say, like, I am not the most prepared right now, so please excuse me if I'm a little shaky with the interview. I just got together a lot of the questions that I wanted to ask, and one would be, for those who aren't familiar with like your full career resume, can you brief us on like your first professional band? Was that the Dixie Dregs?
Yes,
Uh huh. And after that, it was the Dregs, and then
changed the name a little bit.
yeah, and you've done some solo jazz releases and so forth.
Yeah, I've had solo albums, and then I played the last two Kansas albums. Wrote some of the
Uh huh.
music and played with them and toured with them.
Yeah. Okay. Might sound a little generic, but when you started to play, what was your inspiration? What was your drive? Was it a personal influence, or you came from a musical family, or what?
I wouldn't say it came from a musical family because my father could barely carry a tune. But
Yeah.
in school, we played little musical instruments. In grade school, I played clarinet,
Mhm.
and I was really hoping, for something a little bit more interesting. But my brother played clarinet, and it was a hand-me-down, right?
Mhm.
So, you know, because of the hand-me-down factor, I played clarinet, and I really kind of hated it. And I heard some Chuck Berry and Beatles, and said that was really looked like a lot more fun,
Mhm.
and it sure was.
Yeah. So how old are you now, Steve?
I'm 36.
36. Okay. Um, what style of guitar like most fascinates you? Might it be classical? Playing wise, which do you enjoy most?
Well, probably. I mean, I'm not just saying it when I say it, but I really enjoy changing the style all the time.
Yeah.
In other words, any one style seems to get a little boring to me.
No, that's
So,
quite understandable. Yeah.
so I love playing classical, but then, I need a little bit more, the expression of the electric guitar with the bending and the notes and the different tones
Mhm.
is real important to me. And then I use a synthesizer with the guitar for getting sounds that you can't get any other way. Just, and country stuff is great. Just country stuff is uh, a lot like rock to
Mhm.
me. Just a different sound.
Country music, you mean?
Yeah, bluegrass kind of,
Country picking or
yeah, classic
chicken?
country stuff. It's actually a real funky style of playing too.
Mhm.
But people just see the image of that cowboy hat and they don't always listen to what's going on,
Mhm.
musically. But I love that stuff.
Good. I remember seeing you at a club in Long Island called My Father's
Oh
Place.
yeah,
Remember that gig?
Roslyn, yeah.
Yeah, with Alan Holdsworth and Steve Howe came out. Hmm.
Oh, that was some night, yeah.
Yeah, was that one of your most memorable gigs or what?
That was definitely strange. That was my trio, and then that was with Rod Morgenstein was with us
Yeah.
before he got with Winger. Yeah, it was very interesting because Steve Howe was playing with Asia I think in the city.
Mhm.
He had his limo driver come all the way out to Roslyn just to hang out. Isn't he?
Yeah, that was wild. Okay, getting back to when you started playing. I mean, you must have had some sort of strict regimen that you stuck to every day. I mean, what was it like? Was it more or less training out of the books, or what? Or was it a self-taught thing, or what? I know you went to University of Florida, but prior to that, what kind of regimen were you on, and like when did you start playing?
Well, the first thing was, starting a band and taking a few lessons. And then with the band, we learned songs from records. Just the way any garage band does.
Mm-hmm.
Playing at dances and parties. That was really my main purpose in life for a few years. And then
Until when? Like 14 or so? 15?
really, I just played locally. I played wherever I could, but tried to play for people all the time.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily, twice a week, every weekend, but on a regular basis, we're always working towards some concert.
So what age group was this around, Steve? Like
By the time I was 11, and when I was 11, I was playing gigs.
Really?
Yeah. But my brother was older, and he was a drummer, so that got me in with the cool guys that were old.
Uh-huh. So then, like after that, what your transpiration from as far as maybe reading music and getting more I'm trying to think of the right word, more classically trained. When did that come about? When you went to college, or?
Yeah, I was 16. I remember, and saw the classical guitar instructor from the University of Miami, Juan Mercadal.
Uh-huh.
Saw him play a concert, and I didn't know that he taught anywhere. I just saw him play, and just happened to talk to him backstage afterwards. He was greeting all the people, and I asked him, how do you learn like that? He said, well, you can learn it, where I teach.
Now,
I did.
Yeah. Now his name was Warren.
Juan, J-U-A-N. It's Spanish. J-U-A-N. Mercadal, M-E-R-C-A-D-A-L.
Okay, Juan.
Juan Mercadal.
Okay. Would you say the best way to learn guitar would be from a classical guitar teacher?
Well, I think if you do it from both directions, it makes it easier to do both. First of all, a classical instructor will have you reading music right away, which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, a rock guitarist will have really good timing, and be better at improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
So right away, you're starting to get off from what I consider important. If you just stick with one or the other, you're starting to miss some important points.
Yeah.
And a classical guitarist right away will be playing more than one note at a time in counterpoint, which I consider important also.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter which way you go, you're going to learn something. And if you don't really study or learn both, you're going to miss something.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah, the voicing. I remember that show. You totally floored me with your acoustic number. I can't recall which one, but it had at least a double, triple voicings. You get that from classical, obviously. Is that correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's wild. Country Colors on your new album is a great song.
Oh, thanks.
And the whole album's great, but that, and I can't recall the other. Like I said, I'm sorry, I'm not totally prepared. On the second side, the sound, the layering, the clean guitar sounds that you're able to come up with, the producing. I mean, have you had much producing? Is this like your first full project? Is in charge of production?
I produced 3 of the Dregs albums, the last 3, and then all my own albums, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And really the first 3 Dregs albums that I didn't produce or get credit for, I was there every single note,
Mm-hmm.
coaching and saying, here's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Basically being an understudy. So I paid a lot of attention to it because you got to have the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's easier to produce if you're doing your own stuff because you know exactly what you want.
Yeah. Are you in a similar situation? Are you a fan of, say, a Jimmy Page, who is like a master of layering, guitar layerings and production and so forth? How do you? Is there any similarities as far as the the angle of it. Do you like his work? You know?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Do you as far as the production angle I'm trying to get to, you know,
he's
the
a great producer, but also, I mean, writing-wise, he wasn't afraid to limit himself to any style. You hear like Indian influences, you know, Eastern music kind of, and
yeah.
then country music influences.
Well, I think you touched upon a number of styles on high tension wires. There's like contemporary. You hear some Irish folk and something like Highland Wedding. I would think it's Irish folk. I don't know.
Yes, it is. I think that's a good description.
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of beautiful pieces on there. Was that a premeditated concept for the diversity of that writing that record?
Sure. For
Yeah.
me, it's always uh, probably the closest thing I have to a style is the fact that I have different styles. You know?
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
And I like to listen to different stuff,
Yeah.
and I know it makes it harder to sell. Believe me, I know that.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard it for the last 15 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I still think that if you do an album that you really enjoy yourself, then you have no regrets.
Exactly. It's so obvious in your work. It really is.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. So Rod Morgenstein, you're still very close friends, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw him in up near where I live now in Sacramento.
Yeah. You must be happy for him.
Yeah, he's finally getting some payback for all the dues he paid with us.
Yeah. Long overdue. Are there any musicians that you might not have worked with that you might like to one day in the near future? Like a collaboration of some sort, or are you very much into your own personal satisfaction thing?
Oh no, just about every musician that is really good. I mean, I would like to work some with because I enjoy the inspiration I get. Not from copying their lyrics, but from seeing the way that they handle problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really get out of working with somebody is, when we're both sitting there working on a piece of music is how we solve the problem and looking at the thought processes that they use. Somebody who's really talented and has had some success in the business. I love to see how they operate.
Mm.
Because of that, whenever chance comes up, I like to do it. Like we just played a gig out here with Eddie Van Halen. It was kind of I don't know what you call it. It was in it for a NAMM show,
Mm-hmm.
and we played, it was Albert Lee, me, and Eddie Van Halen playing in a band called Biff Davies All Stars. It was really weird
Wow.
stuff, and we did 2 shows.
Wow.
And then, in the time I sat in with Leonard Skinner and played on a Triumph album and did a song with Eric Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of things I really treasure because, I don't know, like I said, I like to see how other people handle it.
Mm-hmm. Did anybody record that show, by the way?
They weren't supposed to.
Okay. What were some of your best times with the Dregs? Maybe an album or something that comes to mind.
Our best times with the Dregs were probably us, about our 5th album,
Yeah.
right before things got a little too weird.
Which title was that? Did it have a title? I
Well,
can't.
it's industry standard with 6, so it might have been Dregs of the Earth
Mm-hmm.
or Unsung Hero. I can't remember which one it was. But
Well,
anyway, we were doing a lot of gigs and getting college support and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the neatest time.
Good. Okay.
We knew too much about the business.
Yeah. Yeah. Steve, do you like metal music in all of its forms, or what do you like and what don't you care for?
Well, to me, to say metal music just signifies kind of like a sound. It doesn't describe the music very much. And if it does describe the music, I probably don't like it that much. Just like somebody says, do you like country and western? If it sounds really I don't like it. Just like I don't like anything that sounds like a cliche.
Mhm.
But if you're talking about some real great playing,
Mhm.
you know, uh, and it happens to be considered heavy metal, yes, I like it very much.
Mhm. It's like Winger would be like a commercial metal band, and
Yeah, I think they're right on the fringe of metal, not really heavily into it.
yeah.
But you know, like all these super flash guitarists that do kind of heavy metal albums, you know, they're very interesting to listen to for, you know, not for too long, because you know you can only take so much of one kind of approach. But I enjoy listening to all the hotshot guitars.
Well, who off the top of your head might you be familiar with, a band or a single guitar artist in the metal genre that you might enjoy listening to?
Oh, well, we'll see. This is off the top of my head, so
Yeah, yeah, sure.
an incomplete list. Um, you know, the first one would be uh, Ingve Malmsteen, you know, and let's see, Vinnie Moore. I enjoy his stuff a lot.
Yeah, Steve, you had to like that record, I would think.
I didn't consider it metal at all. It's more.
Yeah, well, with guitarists, I'm sure you could go on forever, but let's say your personal record collection there. Does it have any, hard rock metal artists in there?
But I'm not sure if you consider Def Leppard metal or not. Or
Yeah, I would consider commercial, metal, commercial rock,
That's some of the best sounding records I've ever heard.
Really? Okay. Let's see what else we got here. The track off of High Tension Wires, Too Many Notes. Picking extravaganza there. Might that be a version of a not speed metal, but you know what I mean. It's if you were ever to lean in that direction at all, that might be something that could fit in your style at least.
Well, I kind of wrote that when people were talking about, classically influenced metal playing, as if it was a new idea.
That is like a neoclassical type of piece.
But it was, that's been around since, Deep Purple, I would say, was the first group that did that a lot, I think.
And yeah, Blackmore, yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people got stuff from him that maybe he didn't get so much credit for.
That's true. Sure. Can you think of a progressive rock band from the 70s that you would have liked to contribute or play with all respects to their guitarist, surely?
Oh, sure.
Like
Allman Brothers, Zephyr, Cactus.
I'm sorry, I don't follow your...
That we'd like to play with?
Yeah, like a progressive, one of the big progressive bands during the 70s, like a Yes, a Queen, a Pink Floyd, any bands like that.
Sure, yes.
Yeah, like Steve Howe, yes,
Sure,
like a Brian May of Queen. He's one of the most underrated guitarists of our times, I think.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job in the studio, especially.
Yeah.
They're very interesting band. I mean, the song Bohemian Rhapsody was absolutely groundbreaking.
Mm-hmm. Sure was.
To hear that on the radio was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the most intense singles I've ever heard.
Okay. How would you like to see Southern Steel marketed?
I don't know. I'm not good at marketing.
Well, you have the guitar players and all of that covered. I'm sure they'll be knocking on MCA's door for that. But your last record, that could have gone to contemporary, easy listening. I heard it I first heard High Tension Wires in a peripheral movie theater, the ones that you sit and lie back in the seat and look up on the screen is on the ceiling.
Wow.
Yeah, it was Kronos in Boston, Massachusetts. It was to the movie Kronos, a historical, a beautiful movie, and they played that in between each intermission.
Wow.
Yeah, and This seems more, like you said, rocking kind of, and like the first track. I don't know if I could picture it on Headbangers Ball or not, but it does lean into more accessibly hard rock territory. Um,
Yeah, but it's the kind of stuff we've been playing for 10 or 15 years in the Dregs, but it just in this particular case just wrote a track.
mhm.
It's the same feels we've been doing a long time. Jeff Beck band, Jan Hammer band was doing it.
Mhm.
Lots of people been doing that feel.
Yeah, I have to ask, since you're the producer of it, how'd you get that effect on the end of cut to the chase? The bar bringing it up, the tape.
Well, I recorded the last chord uh, with the backwards effect,
Uh huh.
and then just tacked it on the end.
It's a real nice touch. It really is.
Something weird. I just wanted something weird to end it with because it was too weird, too strange of a song to just end.
Mhm. So you enjoy producing?
Oh yeah, it gets tiring when you have to produce on a deadline, but my stuff, I keep it kind of low tech and low budget,
Mhm.
where I can just do it at home,
Mhm.
and that way it keeps it fun.
So Steve, when will you be touring to support this release? Will you be touring to support it?
Sure, sure.
I hope
Well,
so.
we're gonna get the band cranked up in a few weeks.
Yeah. You don't have anything set yet, do you?
Gigs? No, we're waiting to find out some news about a tour with somebody who I can't say.
Mhm.
But, that could or couldn't happen, so we gotta wait and see.
Okay. Anything on the new album that really stands out in your mind that you feel strong about, or just the overall album you're happy with?
We're very happy with the overall album.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna start trying to push the second song, Simple Simon. Do a little bit more. I think it's the second song.
Mhm. Has the just one couple last questions here. Has the success of the high-powered instrumental market, it's doing well with the Steve Vai's, Joe Satriani's, Eric Johnson's. Did that have an effect into being more of a band project this time around, rather than the easy listening pace of your High Tension Wires record? Did that have anything to do with it?
No, I think it's just time for a change. I did my solo album, High Tension Wires, during the time that I was playing with Kansas, and also during the time when I was an airline pilot.
Mm-hmm.
It was just spanned over a couple of years, that album. And that was the only way I could do it, was as a solo album.
Mm-hmm.
And the other musicians that played on there played their parts after it was all ready recorded and done. They just, overdubbed some parts. So it was really a solo album.
Mm-hmm.
And in every sense of the word. But I just wanted to, my guys had been playing gigs with me for a year and a half on, songs that they hadn't recorded. And I just wanted to get them involved.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the best way to do it, was get everybody in there in the same room and say, hey, I'm going to bring in some ideas, and you guys tell me what you like and don't like, and give me some suggestions.
Yes, I understand you've been an accomplished pilot for some time now. You're just fascinated with the conquering feel of conquering the skies, or what?
It's kind of indescribable, but some people just really want to be up in the air looking down and feel the freedom. I'm one of them.
That's
I really
great.
love it. Like today, I flew down to L.A. I'm in L.A. now because I'm doing some playing today.
What do you rent out a plane, or what?
I have a plane that the band and I travel in.
That's great. Well, congratulations on that. Have you had it a while now, or?
Yeah, I've had that plane since '84, but always had a personal plane, a real little one since I think '77 or '78.
Oh, good for you. Okay, well, one last thing I'm interested in. Are there any songs of yours when playing live that are a little hard to produce live?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, like what? I know a number of people would be interested in that.
Oh, man. Well, technically, I'd say
The classical pieces more so than the electric, or what?
No, no, things like too many notes are
It's a bitch.
it's just hard to play. But
Yeah.
you know, usually I play it almost every gig, so it's not impossible. It is a challenge.
What might another track be, just off the top of your head?
Okay. Well, the ones we don't play any live that we would have that much trouble with, like Ghost Wind, I would really like to do that.
That's a beautiful track.
But it's too many layers of guitar. But we do Highland Wedding. We do that live
Wow.
with no tape backups or anything. It just happens to work out on guitar and bass
Mhm.
real well.
Yeah, Ghost Wind is one of my favorite tracks. It's a great
Yeah,
track.
me too. I just that was very mysterious the way that thing worked, the way it came about.
Uh-huh. Okay, one last question. How does it feel that you are never really were a part of the heavy metal or hard rock metal, whatever you want to call it, genre? You were never really a part of that scene, yet so many guitarists recognize you as a major influence. I mean, that must make you feel really good.
Well,
'Cause I've interviewed a number of them, and a number of stated you as their main influence.
really, well,
Yeah.
that's great. I wish. I mean, I thank them for that. That's how I feel. But I do have to kind of point back to the Dregs stuff. We did a lot. We were an instrumental rock band
Yeah.
before it became possible to have it, on the radio.
Mhm.
The one exception would be Edgar Winter's song, Frankenstein. But
Yeah.
other than that, there was never anything on the radio, and until Joe Satriani got real big, it was never heard on the radio very much.
Yeah. Yeah, that record certainly did break a lot of ground for instrumental artists. Okay, so your baby, is it a boy or a girl?
The boy,
Boy, and what's his name?
Kevin.
Kevin. Okay, well, I'll be sure to publish that also. Steve, thanks
Thanks.
thanks so much for the article, and I'll be sure to send you our latest issue just so you know what it's like and so forth.
Okay, I really appreciate the time, Phil.
I appreciate yours.
All right, we'll see you, man.
Thank you.